The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
What's the fuss?
To open my beer backwards.
You can't crack it if it's facing the wrong way.
Oh man,
Backwards
I messed
ass
up my
cracker?
cracker. Hey, don't
Jinx,
call me
you
a
owe
cracker.
crack.
Jinx, you owe me a crack.
Starting this show out
That's
hot.
the new thing.
Oh, Jinx, you owe me a crack. Oh, well, that is Coleman Pizza Peisenberg with us again. My name is Rocky Soga. I am the host of the show. What's the Fuss podcast is what you're listening to. With me, as always, my producer, John Hannon.
Hey, man.
And Chris Coleman's already introduced himself.
That's me.
He would like some crack. And also we have, all right, so this person sitting across from me right now, very special to me, one of my best friends, but more importantly, he is probably my favorite rock star that's not a rock star. He's in my favorite band. He sings my favorite song. And for some reason, he's friends with me. Steve Osborne from 69 Fingers.
Hey guys,
Hey, Steve Osborne.
How are you?
I'm the before version of Steve Osborne.
Yeah. If you're
the after.
joining us on YouTube,
This is what I could be if I did some fucking push-ups, folks.
Yep, that's exactly.
Damn it.
It's just like, it's what you probably were a few years ago.
I was.
You got
almost
this.
at that point. Never at Steve's. Never at
LASIK.
Steve's level.
You are one of the few people, and I'll give this to you, your eternal credit. You are getting better looking with age.
Thank you.
Were awkward.
you.
Wasn't he more awkward in your 20s and late 20s?
Oh, absolutely.
You were weird looking.
I didn't know you in my late 20s.
I didn't know you, but I've seen pictures.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I've found my niche. It took me 35 good years.
You've gotten
But I got
more
there.
beautiful over time.
Yep, I get to enjoy
And
it for a
Steve,
good...
so have you. Your
Right.
beard has gotten more luscious too. I remember you had
Thank
that
you.
patchy Joe Dirt thing when I first met
This
you.
is a rare side of Rocky, paying
What?
all these compliments.
I know.
Yeah, oh, it's going to get rough later. But obviously, you guys probably know what the show is going to be about. I'm sure by now we picked some clever title or something like that. But we're probably going to be talking about...
But look at
you
your
know.
shirt, for one. Did you
Oh.
mean to wear that?
he did it on purpose.
Okay.
what?
Because I just realized as we were firing up the show, oh shit, Rocky's shirt says Riot. And we're probably going to talk a lot about riots today.
We are going to be
That was
talking
the
about a
themed
little,
shirt. I like
bit of
that.
rioting. But we have a very special guest, actually someone that I've known for a long, long time. One of my... very good friends, actually. We're going to call him up soon because he's got a question for us. The guy that we're going to talk to, he has a very unique perspective on what it's like to be black in America. He grew up a skateboarder and a punk rocker, but we all kind of grew up like this community that we're in right now was not always as beautiful and bustling as it was. In the 90s, it was kind of shitty. And when we grew up, it was bad. So it was a bad neighborhood. And then he grew up skating, and then he actually ended up doing a every day of a 10-year prison sentence for I'll let him tell you if he wants to. But he's a really good guy. He's one of my all-time best friends, and he's got a very important question for us today. But what I wanted to ask you guys first is how are you guys doing? We're kind of reopening Florida a little bit, correct? I mean,
Things are starting to normalize a little bit.
we're getting back to work, a lot of us. How are you guys doing? I know that you just came back from West Virginia.
Yo, I'm still waiting on the government to pay me my unemployment money too.
Oh yeah,
Are we all
that's been a
serious?
fucking
Yeah.
nightmare for
Yeah.
everybody.
I've been waiting on it forever. I just gave up on that and the stimulus for me. It's
I got
not going to
mine.
happen. So
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Why
I
don't you
got-
share, man? Why don't you share the wealth a little
Sure,
bit?
sure.
Spread,
Like, I know.
Spread
like,
it out, bro.
I'm poor as fuck, and he's like, I just got 1,200.
He's
And I'm
fucking
like, beers on you, Johnny.
He just,
All right, all
let
right, all
Steve
right.
go get beer. You just let Steve go get beers from the store.
There's four of us,
knowing you
three-
got a pocket full of change.
300 apiece for all of you.
All right,
Every
that's what I'm
penny's got
talking
Donald
about.
Trump's name all over it. Let's spend that shit on beer.
Hey man, I'm down for free money, however it comes, dude.
Right.
When I was getting really into like astrophysics and like The Secret and all that stuff like that. One.
Oh yeah, then that time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I went to
We've
college.
all been
for-
there.
Yeah, I went to college for physics, and
dark time.
I quickly changed my major. But I like
matter.
I really liked this one saying, and it was money comes easily and frequently, and I always thought that was really fun. Let me call up if you guys want to. I don't know, talk amongst yourselves.
What's the topic?
The thigh master, neither thigh nor master. No. The spork. Is it a better spoon or fork?
Ooh, which came first? I often have this argument with myself. Is it a spoon that transformed to a fork, or is it a fork that took on spoon qualities?
Ooh, like
You guys, oh man, I was,
what's better than the other? So like you're saying like which
Well,
one kind of bought
are they
out the other?
different? Is there a
is it a shitty
foon?
fork or a shitty spoon?
Is there a foon and also a spork, or is spork the only one in the game?
I feel like the spoon came first
Me
because
too.
it could have just been like a rock or a stick. and then someone figured out they could.
I feel like you're
cookies on
right.
it.
I agree. This is in the argument I have with myself constantly. I decided that it was a spoon that they cut tines into and then made it a
This
spork.
is so stupid.
We have our guest
killed
on the
time
phone.
accurately.
We have our guest on the phone. His name is Frankie. You there, Frankie?
I'm here.
All right, man. So Frankie is a very good friend of mine, and also go ahead and tell everybody your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel. It's nothing amazing. It's something I've recently just started toying with. And I'm all over the place. Some of the stuff on there is music. Some of it is political commentary. And some of it is movie reviews.
Yeah, I love the one that you did this morning. You were responding to a racist this morning. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, actually. Yeah, it's weird. I was actually in prison with that guy.
That's
And,
that's the craziest shit, man.
My girlfriend's vacuuming. That's what that noise is in the background.
Oh, okay, well, it's a good time to do that. Hey, good.
No, I was saying I was in prison with that guy, and it's so weird. He had, I knew of him. You know, we weren't buddies or anything, but I'd see him around. He'd see me around. We knew each other, mutual respect, whatever. We weren't pals. And then one day, I'm scrolling through Facebook, as always. I really need to stop. And I come across his timeline, and he posted something about, black people needing to get over slavery because the Jews and the Holocaust and the Irish. You know, that's a very common argument.
Yeah, I heard your.
Discredit.
I heard your I heard basically your YouTube video on that and how you kind of you pretty much put him in his place when it came to you said that, you know, not necessarily every white person, but this is a tactic that sometimes gets used by white people. They try to divert what was really the first matter by saying, I have a black friend, or I have a black girlfriend, or I have a black this or black that.
Yeah, that's another common tactic among racists. You know, they try to convince you that they're not racist simply because they have a black cousin. And people who do that, that's the first sign of a person actually being a racist, right? If you're not racist, you're never going to be like, well, my best friend's black. You're not going to say that.
Yeah, I think I remember early on that in my life, that argument not really holding a lot of water, so I don't think I ever tried it again.
Yeah, that argument that's dead. It's no good.
Yeah.
It needs to be retired. They're gonna have to work a little harder.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I definitely suggest checking out. It's Linear B, right? Linear B on YouTube.
Yeah, right now it's Linear B. I'm gonna probably end up changing it at some point. That's what I was going by when I was really focused on music.
Okay.
But I'm trying to kind of get more into political and movie criticism.
Okay. Well, hey, did you have a question for us to kind of toil over for the next few minutes?
Yeah, definitely. So the main question, I mean, there are so many I could throw out there, but here's a good one. Why are there people who are trying to, deflect from the George Floyd tragedy by bringing up examples of, white Americans slain by police?
Okay. All right.
Have you seen those kinds of things floating around?
That's not the main one I've been seeing. I've been seeing a lot of people mad about the Target in the local area, which, like, who gives a fuck? But honestly, I mean, that did kind of take away from a lot of the argument. A lot more people were talking about Target than George Floyd yesterday, which was extremely upsetting. I think it should be to everybody, but that's not the main one that I've heard. But I'm happy to go over it with everybody if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Target. That's another one I'd love to talk about. But yeah, my question, I just find it so funny how there are people who are like, where were the riots when, Ashley McDonald was killed? And then you research the case and the context is totally different.
Her killer was
a legitimate comparison.
Her killer was immediately caught and sentenced to death. And also, I believe that was her ex-husband or something like that. Ashley was a woman that was killed by cops in the same town, or killed by a cop in the same town. But it wasn't because she was doing any, he was her crazy ex, and he came back and she was slain in cold murder.
Right, there was a previous history between the two.
But he was immediately nabbed up. He was immediately nabbed up and I believe put to death. But continue on, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, you basically hit the nail on the head. He was immediately apprehended. I think the family received something like a $20 million settlement, and there were in fact protests. You know, so it's not like this lady had been beaten to death in the middle of a public street by a cop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not even the same. Not even in the same ballpark.
They arrested a CNN crew before they arrested the murderer.
Absolutely. I saw another video of them shooting pepper balls at another news crew.
All right,
who was clearly marked as journalists.
Frankie, we're gonna go ahead and try to answer that question, and we're gonna keep it going. If you don't mind staying kind of near the phone or whatever, we may call you up again for another thing if you don't mind. But for now, we're gonna go on that topic and continue on with the show.
No, sounds good, man. I'll be right here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, man. I can't wait to actually have you come on the podcast. Maybe we can visit you. Maybe you can visit us. However we got to do it, I'm happy to.
All right, awesome. Sounds good, Rocky.
All right, peace, brother.
Peace.
All right, so that was my friend Frankie. We grew up skateboarding together. I've probably known that guy for 20-something. Now I'm showing my age.
Seems like a nice man.
Oh, he's a great guy. He's
super
a
smart guy, man.
Oh man, he is an absolute. He's always been smart. He was by far the best skateboarder of all of us. When we were doing kick flips off the curb, he was literally, I'm not joking, he was ollieing down like 16, 20 stairs, doing handrails, tough as nails. He was, obviously I don't think I need to say, he's an African-American gentleman, but he was smaller than a lot of us. And he had a younger brother who I'm not going to get into, but, they were two little balls of lightning, and they were amazing skaters. Like I said, they just had charisma out the ass. You know, they're such good guys. And
so his main question was in regards to
the deflecting of the issue. Among white people.
He used a specific one, but I see a lot of deflection all over the place.
Well, his main question
fuss.
there. His main fuss. Is that what we're doing?
That's why he's
Sorry, I'm getting a
he
little.
listens to the show. He's a fan.
Well, it was basically like, why are so many people? And I see this all the time when people are like, when someone talks about Trump, they talk about Obama. When someone talks about Obama, they talk about Trump.
Absolutely.
They can't argue their issue.
Nope, it is
unless bringing up something else that is. I mean, it's quasi-related.
That form of debate has been legitimized. Now it's a tactic. And when you disagree,
it's
with
called
someone,
a red herring.
There's so many outs. The whole. You can say something and then take it back later and say, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that," or "I didn't." You can always recant, and it's based on a recant, and it's based on coming back and saying you misunderstood me.
Yeah.
So it becomes this whole dance where everyone's just saying whatever they want.
But
it's a vicious, never-ending cycle of bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not answering the question.
Right.
It's not answering the question. It's a total diversion
at its core.
It's a tried and true. It's a tried and true tactic too. It works.
It only it works on idiots. I was just going to say it only works on idiots because someone that and I'm no linguist and I'm certainly no political commentator or anything like that. But I know for a fact when someone's trying to bullshit me, because I've tried to bullshit a lot of people, like when I was...
Yeah, bullshitter. Wise man once said that.
Thank you, Ricky Bobby.
No problem. Shake and bake.
Wise man.
but this is a common tactic, and they go, well, of all the people shot by police, white people are 55%.
Oh, yeah,
Black people are only 26%. The rest is divided up against Spanish.
Yeah, that's
and
been another argument that people are making. Do you realize
that? Well, first of all, police have, I'm assuming, millions of interactions a day. Between everybody. There's only about 400 to 500 deaths a year from police. And honestly, the footage, the news will have you believe that it's nearly all African American people. That it's all black people.
Because that's what gets the coverage. But I see what you're saying. Whereas as a percentage, it's more white people killed. Absolutely, yes. Because it is more white people, but that's on a population-based basis.
It's also not what we're fucking talking about right now.
Right.
We're talking about if you're denying police brutality in America amongst certain sects of society, you are in for a long ride. Yeah. Because it's prevalent. It's been a thing.
It's in every
we
state.
Didn't end this in the 60s like everybody likes to think. But also I understand this tactic, and I did see the video. He didn't refer to it in that, but I think a lot of this is coming from the video that's on his YouTube page. If you do want to go check out Linear B, he's only got 3 videos up there. There's not a ton of he just started it, but it's really, really good. He's obviously a very articulate, smart person, and he really just reads this racist, the Riot Act, and I believe that's where he's getting it. This guy, instead of answering the original question, what's going on with Black America and police in this country? What's happening? Well, white people were slaves, and there's
the Jews were slaves. You don't hear them.
He's
bitching.
going on about. First of all, man, I'm about to get it right now. People aren't going to like this, but the Irish were indentured servants, and indentured servitude is a lot different from slavery.
Oh yeah,
it's not a fucking walk in the park, but it's also not the same thing. It's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's off
Steve,
topic.
Do you ever have to explain to people, like, for instance, like, we have a lot of friends that are Black. Your wife is Black. Do you ever have to use that as an excuse of why you can speak on a subject or why you feel a certain way? Do your friends, family, whatever, ever come into an argument in this way? Do you ever have to resort to that?
No, I never have to. And honestly, it's usually me asking someone else to pump the brakes on something they're saying, and then depending on how smart or dumb the person is, I can continue on with the conversation or not.
Yeah.
You know, I had a conversation last night about the use of the N-word by someone else that's not Black, but they're not white either. And they were telling me how it's okay. And I was telling them how it's not okay.
It's not fun.
You know, and so
it's not a cool word.
But we were having a legitimate discussion, and after that, we both respected each other's ways, but none of us changed what
you
we
walked
thought.
away, like two minds tried.
Right.
Well, I mean, as long as you guys respectively talk about where you guys are coming from to just try to maybe make the other one understand. But some people, and what I've been seeing a lot on social media, and I've even gotten caught up in these arguments where people just start putting words in each other's mouths. You say one thing and they're like, oh, so you're saying the blah, 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 blah.
Was it on the Funny to Informing page, or was it on your personal page the other day that you got it? It turned into, was that your personal page?
That was.
Okay.
He got a lot of fly. He said he was getting messages from
Oh, my
that.
God.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it. I didn't even
200 something comments.
No, is it still there? I gotta go look at it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot.
So basically, he had an opinion, which everybody's entitled to have, and then people kept adding what they think to his opinion. They kept adding more stuff. They were literally making it up out of thin air.
I didn't like how it's all based on extremity. So it's like, I'm against what happened to George Floyd, and I'm against the riots.
Anybody for it?
But
I mean,
But when you go against the riots, which is what John I think was getting, was now all of a sudden he's not against police brutality.
Yeah,
because he's against the riots.
And I'm not against protesting, and the peaceful protests clearly don't work. So you do have to get a little loud, and I understand that. But I think that it's starting to get overboard, and that's all I was trying to say, is that it's getting a little out of hand now, and people are like, "No, I'm so glad that this is happening. They need to know." And I get that part of it, but it's getting crazy now.
They're burning.
It's becoming, riots and protests are different.
And the rioters are burning and destroying their own neighborhoods, their own local mom and pop businesses, which are other, in many cases,
I
minority
didn't realize
owners.
you were going to take that stance. Okay, I was going to say I'm only being devil's and that is my role. It always will be, always has been. I'm devil's
That's your
advocate.
life, we know.
From the way back stages of What's the Fuss when Billy was on, he was the good guy. I'm the fucking bad guy.
Can I ask a question too? Is
Please.
it Billy's birthday today, or would it have been his birthday?
Would have been late May, right?
I'm not sure.
I know it's around this time period. I
Oh,
thought
that hurts my heart that I
Late
forgot
May.
my best buddy's birthday.
it might be his birthday today.
I think it may have been the 24th.
I mean, I saw our buddy, and we've mentioned him on the show before, Berto. He posted something wishing him a happy birthday.
Well, Bill,
Happy birthday,
There
Bill.
you go.
Right.
One for
Love
Bill.
you,
to that guy's butthole.
Moment of silence to that guy's butthole.
All right, so I forget exactly where we were at. Well, okay, so
Yeah, the conversation is starting to heat up now.
yeah, it's fine. But all right, so we're
Fuck
gonna
you.
go
Can we just go there now? I hate you. Never talk to me again.
I'm always
Let's
gonna
just
be-
save all the bullshit. And
I'm
get
always
to
going to be the devil's advocate, and right now what you're about to hear is two punk rockers go at it, probably about the topic of what it is to loot, riot, whatever. I'll go ahead and start it and make it easy on everybody. I am all for burning the whole fucking, just for fun, not for any reason.
You're an anarchist, though.
I
so-
love me some I'm not an anarchist. I'm certainly not. I'm a libertarian at best. I'm a centrist. I'm a left leaning. I'm left of center.
You're a fence poster.
I guess so. I don't know what the fuck I am, but I'm all for burning and looting. This is my only objection. Because I say burn the whole... I don't give a shit. But I have seen towns never come back from this shit. The race riots in Chicago in the 60s. Chicago never came back from that. Detroit has happened. Also, just offhand, does anybody remember the 19-year-old male's name that was shot down in the street looting a store in Detroit? Do you remember the name? Anybody?
Looting the store, no.
So it's not about these people's lives. The story has changed now from the human beings who were killed.
Right.
Which is what started it. And I believe that first brick thrown through that fucking Target window, that first brick was probably anger. Physical violence does change things politically, no matter if you like it or not. I'm not stoked on it.
Oh, it's a Malcolm X.
I would say last choice, burn down the city. But physical violence does move. That's how political movements get started. That first brick was probably thrown in anger. The rest of it, and Minneapolis, Minnesotians will have been saying this constantly. It's not people from Minneapolis that are burning the city down. It's people from surrounding areas coming to join in the fun.
Right. They all want to. Yeah. So, they all want to get in on it.
The story has now just all day yesterday. I don't think I heard George Floyd's name mentioned one time. All I heard about was fucking Target. I didn't hear about anything but Target. And as a matter of fact, if you want to look up George Floyd, unfortunately, that is a very normal name. And if you forget, because I forgot his last name the other day, you know what I typed in? Riot. So now, now it's completely overshadowed.
Absolutely.
By what is happening.
Right.
And
it's become way beyond what the message ever was.
As a violent person myself, I would hate for his death to become in vain and overshadowed by this stuff.
That's where it's going.
And I'm wondering now has it reached? And I'm asking Steve here: has this been a good tactic now that we do have because the first? All right, so Donald Trump got pissed and called in the fucking FBI first thing. So now it's a federal fucking matter. It's a huge deal.
The National Guard is there.
The National Guard is on the fucking scene.
Yeah, Trump's been making straight up threats.
Yeah, well, so in that regard, was this a good thing? Did it do its job? Now that we have the attention of not only the nation but the world. I'm seeing you shaking your head,
yes,
Steve. Would you like
definitely.
to elaborate? Okay.
I don't know if you were being devil's advocate or not, and you were saying that you think the rioting is good. I really do think it is. I think we should burn it all down, and that's weird for me to say because if I owned a business or something
now,
like that.
Is that to the detriment of the small business owners in the neighborhood, or do you think because now we have the attention of the world?
Yeah, to me, they're collateral damage in a bigger picture.
Hopefully, they have insurance.
Yeah, well, no, and that's the thing. When you buy a business or when you start a business, you take on that responsibility and that risk. You get that insurance because that can happen, and that's not totally out of the cards of your business burning to the ground and you getting the money for it.
Well, I mean, I get hurricane damage
well,
here
these people
Florida,
are damaging. They're saying they're damaging their own neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods that they live in, that they're damaging, that people are saying are theirs. Those aren't really their neighborhoods. Then that's why.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
you're right.
And there is a lot that's not getting talked about because I was seeing pictures of those same protesters and rioters cleaning up the next morning.
Right. And when I say it's not their neighborhoods, I mean the people who live there that were there present and burning their own neighborhood down. That wasn't their neighborhood to begin with.
These
that's
are
why they're
from
burning
surrounding areas who see the flames and go, "Oh fuck, that looks cool." And I'm not gonna act like these people don't harbor some resentment towards the state, the cops, whatever.
Right.
A lot of these people look like, these people look like people I'd be friends with. And let's be honest, we break a lot of laws. But it doesn't look like someone that is going to have a ton of, I have respect for the police only because I'm not going to get into it, but at the University of Austin, I was shown who the fuck is boss, and that's a whole nother podcast. But I respect
Bruce
cops.
Springsteen, clearly.
I respect cops only because I know that they can fucking throw you in a jail cell, and
Absolutely.
I hate going to jail. I fucking hate going to jail. I think most people do, but also what is beyond that is basically did you guys watch? I stayed up till 4:30 something in the morning the other day watching all these videos and I watched the entire thing. That man stood on that man's neck for fucking 10 minutes. Yep. While he said, I can't breathe, I'm dying, help me, some water.
How symbolic is it that he took a knee on that guy's neck?
Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
That's
It
absolutely
was a
I mean?
meme.
So
of the
You
day.
can look at that guy's face, David Chauvin or whatever, and he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
You can see the joy he's getting out of.
Well, I just when I knew
disgusting.
that
And there was a black
he was
cop, like, right
underneath
next to him.
When I just remember him being underneath the cop saying, "I can't breathe, and the first thing my mind shot to is it's fucking Eric Garner.
Yeah,
all over
we've
it.
already seen
Eric
this before.
fucking Garner.
We've seen
and
this
it's
before.
similar. It's for a loose cigarette he sold on the street versus a guy
dude-
forging a check or whatever.
Was it a forged check or was it a fake dollar bill? I thought it was fucking
It was
like
forgery.
Monopoly.
It was like
So-
over like $20.
Who
Is that what it
gives
was?
a
right,
fuck?
Right.
I know.
It's.
I mean,
I don't know,
dude,
it's
come
ridiculous.
on.
And then he passes out, is completely unconscious for 6 or 7 minutes, and the guy feels the need to keep his fucking knee there.
Before
and
that-
he's cuffed and everything.
Before that, they were saying that he was resisting, but did you see his form of resistance? It was extremely passive. It was the opposite of resisting. He went limp. He went limp. He goes, okay, fuck. I can already see where this is going. Look, man,
Dude, that cop.
whoever is above that. There was a camera right there, man. I'm very lucky that this shined a huge light. Go ahead. I'm sorry. to
That
interrupt.
cop looks like a Hollywood casting agency would be like, all right, we need to find a dirty cop, a guy that looks like he would be a cop, but when you just look at him, you know something's wrong or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's that
absolutely.
bad guy in every movie that you're like, wait a second, this guy's got ulterior motives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
He's got such a punchable face.
yeah, and it's like when you see that guy's face, you're like, yeah,
And,
he was
and
totally
his wife
that
filed
guy.
for divorce
Like,
too. Did you
yeah.
see that?
Yeah, his wife
No.
filed, and he's currently being held, or is he out on bond?
No, dude, he's on like a $500,000 bond. He's
But they
not
only
getting
gave
out.
him third-degree murder charges,
Which is
the
ridiculous. That's like
lowest
an accident.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like an accident. That's like if you fucking threw a frisbee and it caught someone right in the temple and
Right,
they
and
fucking
they
fell
died.
over dead. It's not enough of a.
And the medical examiner is already in their pocket
That's
on
what
his side.
John
Like,
said earlier that I guess they're now deeming that it was not due to that he died. It was-
Oh, so his
Asphyxiation.
natural causes, old age, was it
Yeah,
that he was
yeah.
fucking?
What is that,
They're saying-
40-something?
Did he
Yeah.
die of? Did he die of diabetes right there on the fucking sidewalk
They don't
while the
call it
motherfucker was
diabetes.
stepping on
There
his
was a
neck?
statement in the medical examiner report that said something like maybe caused by possible drugs in his system or something.
Oh,
like.
probably.
Not
Sketchy.
that they said these drugs were in his system and that's why he died. They were like maybe caused by possible drugs in his system.
He
Like,
did not look on drugs to me. He didn't. He actually looked quite fucking reasonable.
on the drug of lack of oxygen. Yeah, it was
So a $20
definitely under
check.
that drug.
It was ridiculous. I'm glad there was. And now, all right. So here's a dichotomy. I see it. Here's a dichotomy of the video camera. Not only, all right. So the video camera did two things in this particular case. It caught the death of this man, and it shined a light on everything. But it also. I've heard it said that the People's Revolution will be televised, and everybody's heard that on the old CD.
Yep.
And then NoFX went ahead and said the People's Revolution is going to be a podcast. I'm going to
Did
go
they
ahead
say
and
that?
rewrite that.
That's awesome.
The People's Revolution is going to be a fucking live stream, and that's already what it
is.
did. Now
Yeah.
it is now that is entrapped. They were having fun. They were because I saw that, and when they were in, dude, one of the funniest things I'll ever see in my life, and I'm sorry to make light of it, but it was hilarious. Was a guy riding a bike through a Target
I
with
love
an
that.
Instapot, and he goes, "Oh God, and he was just poorly riding his
I didn't
bike.
see that. I didn't see that.
It was fucking hilarious. Another guy's got a vacuum cleaner. in his
the
hand.
chick frantically running out with handfuls of lamps.
Did
I'm
you
like,
see? Did you see? There was a white woman that just had a mannequin.
A mannequin.
She
Yeah.
had a mannequin.
I don't get it.
You idiot. But I did see one dude who this is exactly what so I'm not even gonna fucking blame the guy. He had shoestrings tied around the back, the bottoms of baggy pants, and his belt. They were falling down. He had a liquor bottle shoved all through everything, and he was carrying a bunch of them. I would do the same thing, or probably more. As everybody knows, the Sublime song. I'd probably hit up the music store and get a couple guitars. Or something. I don't even play guitar.
People went out prepared. And there was one guy, like a picture that's kind of going viral where somebody's in the background during like all this chaos, like with like a thing of Legos under his
Oh,
arm.
I saw that. It looked like
So-
Rye. It looked like fucking Rye Perry.
That's the bomb song, April 26, 1992.
Yeah.
What happened in April 26, 2020?
Riots.
Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah.
May, but
Yeah.
May
Riots.
26th. Wow.
Wow, yeah.
If
May,
only
sorry,
Brad
sorry.
Lee could see this fucking happening, what, 20 years after wasn't that like, I mean, like,
It was like 30.
1992, and now it's
Almost
fucking
30 years.
Holy
Almost
motherfuck.
to the day, 30 years. Yeah.
Wow. I was 5 when that
Shit
fucking
ain't changed,
happened.
has it?
No, not much,
Has not
man.
changed.
You know, it's ridiculous, and that's kind of what I want to get into. That's why I wanted to have you on, and not only did I want to do that, but I wanted to celebrate the dropping of your new album, Goodbye from 69
Thank
Fingers.
you.
Oh,
we're gonna
man.
play. We'll play whatever you want to. I think we played most of the songs.
We played a couple of them.
Not all of them.
Not all.
That's
Well,
for sure.
we'll let you decide whatever one you want to play, but it's off your new record. But also, I did want to talk to you about this because you and I have discussed this in private. We've had our discussions. It's so funny. Steve and I, we're very good friends. You're one of my all-time best friends. We're not very much alike. We're
That's
not.
what's cool about it.
Yeah, it is cool. And I'm always devil's advocate. And you're such a sweetheart. So maybe that's kind of what it is. But like, it's funny that I don't see a lot of people disagreeing with this. I have some hardcore Republican friends. I have some hardcore lefty friends, and everybody's on the same fucking page with this one issue. And honestly, I mean, I hope his death is not in vain and overshadowed by all this violence, all this destruction and whatever. And
It's gonna be in the history books regardless. It just depends on what kind of light is casted on it.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. So we're gonna go to break real quick. We're gonna play some 69 Fingers. You guys are lucky to hear it because it's great stuff. Coleman and I were actually featured on the record, and actually, I believe we're gonna call up Frankie for another question and probably updated him. He's not happy that he can't hear the show live, but we're probably gonna have him back. And I really want to get into this because I think it's important. But for now, you're gonna hear some 69 Fingers.
You got me running away, my friend. You do anything you want to do, consequences none of you. Got me thinking you don't understand. And now you never do anything that you say you think you're gonna do. And up to the point of view, I know it's all part of your big plan. I know you're gonna do anything you wanna do. It's obligational. And now I'm thinking the world will end. Through all its preparation and all its desperation, and it's a tale as old as time. You up with a leaping low. A little remorse before the tears simultaneously falling on me. I don't wanna see that. You wanna give it up. I know you're gonna do anything you wanna do. The opposition will make you understand. Nothing goes to plan. I know you're gonna do anything you wanna do. The opposition will make you understand. Nothing goes to plan.
Lord, that was Launch Codes from 69 Fingers.
Yeah.
Very ironic.
Fitting
'cause
song for today of all days.
we are doing a launch, correct?
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes as we sit here and record.
Did you see the little spacemen in their suits gearing up and getting their little speech this morning?
I didn't see any of it.
It was super cute.
I was listening to a lot of it on the radio and they were describing it, but I don't get the picture.
They don't have those big puffy uniforms on. It's like
what
a
I
more
heard.
of a slim fit. It looks
More adorable, right?
Oh, it looks a lot like a onesie.
like-
looks a lot like a onesie.
Skinny jeans version of a spacesuit.
Dude, very much so. I'm sure that like
Provided
the
by
Mylar.
Zoomies. Thanks, Zoomies.
They look kind of like the stormtroopers from Star Wars.
A
little bit.
a little
Nice.
bit, but not as cool. I think we could cool it up now that we have the Space Force and everything. Like,
You're right.
Can we not? Let's just add a few elbow pads. Not that we need them.
elbow pads.
for fun.
Elbow pads and knee pads.
If we can give them some laser shooters that they're not accurate at all with, that'd be fucking cool.
Even if it's just like a drill for like when they're having to repair something, like just make it look like a gun.
Just make it look more Star Troopery.
Star Troopery.
Stormtroopery.
Stormtroopery.
I've only
Star
seen,
Troopery.
I have not. I gotta say right
It's a
now,
whole nother conversation.
I'm not a Star Wars dude. I watched maybe the first one and maybe half of it.
Same. I saw the original 3 from the 70s, and that's pretty much it.
I can't stay awake during movies. I cannot do it.
I'm a nerd that's watched all of them.
Oh, I can't
like
stay
it.
up.
These are astronauts, the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, so like pretty much almost like as we are going to wrap this up, they're going to be launching, some astronauts
Right
into space.
outside our door,
Yep.
actually.
And then we're
we
gonna
live.
and then we're gonna eat pizza
at
like
NASA.
fat pieces of shit and look up.
Are we? Is that
A
what
lot of
we're
people
doing?
don't know that from Orlando, we can step outside of our house and watch a rocket
It's
launch.
actually if we go this way in
Is it?
front.
Yeah, you wanna look
I've
like-
watched several over the years.
Okay.
Yeah.
East, southeast, or whatever, right? Yeah, from here,
Listen,
whichever way that is.
Don't navigate that by I-4.
And I don't know
You'll never
like
get
how
it.
many people have actually like been around a launch, but you can feel it if you're close
It's
enough.
hot.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I was on the beach in
wave.
Daytona, which is probably what is that, like 50 miles away, 40
Stormed
miles
the
away.
beaches in Normandy, so
And
don't even tell me.
I was like, it's just as bloody in Daytona. But
Buddy's
I was
face
standing
down
on the
in the
beach in
mud.
Daytona, and I got to watch a night launch actually, which was gorgeous and amazing. But you could feel it. Like in the sand, I could feel the rumble about a minute
Oh, yeah.
behind after the actual
Oh, yeah.
launch. It was crazy. I mean, I'm like 40 miles away. I couldn't believe that it traveled like that.
The new one they have now, where the rockets come back.
Yeah, it
And they
lands
land.
itself. Yeah.
I saw one of those at night, and literally you can look up and see rockets. And I was like right at Titusville.
it's like coming in.
They're coming right at
It's
you. You're
scary
like,
as
there's a
fuck.
flaming rocket coming right at me.
Red Dawn, Red Dawn.
Hopefully it works, whatever they plan, and then it explodes. The fire kicks in to slow it down, and it's like right over your head. So when it explodes, you feel the explosion. It's
Holy
like,
shit, really?
and
See,
then
if
it
I'm-
slowly
I did
lands.
not
like,
know that.
If I'm tripping hard
Unbelievable.
enough, I would start running.
I would
Yeah,
lose my
really.
shit.
No, it feels, and I was right by the launch pad, and it literally every moment that it's coming down, it feels like it's coming right at you until it gets right
lands on
above
a-
You
the.
hope
like
the
a
GPS
moving-
is up to date. It's not a Gartner.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully it's
Or
better
any
than those
one little
shitty
thing fucks
Teslas.
up.
But
Liked our Tesla that we drove around in Las Vegas.
Teslas are nice. But does it not land on like an island, a barge in the ocean or in the river?
Now it
Pontoon
just
boat,
lands
but-
right back on the one I saw landed
Lands on a
right
party
back on the
boat.
pad on land. There was no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
not that thing. It was
I have it
just
on
right
good
back.
information from flat earthers that's all CGI.
Nice.
Is it?
It's what is it like the holograms? They can
Yes.
put
Oh,
holograms
yeah.
into the sky.
After
You know
they
what?
did Tupac, it was all downhill from there.
Why didn't we think of that?
Whatever the TV tells you, man. That's what you.
Facebook,
That's, what you
even
say.
more accurate.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
the way
definitely.
technology is getting, everything can be a conspiracy. Or
I hope they get rid of Facebook and Twitter. I know that's actually a thing coming up, man. I hope the fuck they do, dude. I really do. It's just an absolute useless form of entertainment, and I think it does a lot more bad than good. And it's not even free speech, because if you say something that's funny or true, they'll delete it.
Yeah.
They will fucking
Yeah,
delete
there's
it.
no free speech.
How
It's-
funny is it that our president is mad that they're like fact checking him and like censoring him?
Well, he
Boy,
can
he
hold a
signed
press
a law.
conference.
He signed a law.
Yeah, he signed a law. During
He
all
signed a
this, he
law.
made sure to do that before
Yeah.
anything else.
Yep.
What's funny is he can literally go on TV on every channel at any time, all throughout the day, and say whatever he wants.
How
without
bad
being
would you
censored.
abuse that power trunk
Right.
at like 3 a.m? And you're like, everybody has to hear this Newfound Glory song because I like it right now.
Well, that's what Trump does with Twitter, basically.
man,
You're right.
I know.
I take it back. Rocky would be the worst president.
Oh, wow.
Not Trump. At least he's not jamming Newfound Glory.
Anything's
Blink
better than someone
182.
from New York. All right, so let's get back into
Sorry,
all this stuff. Oh, people are mad at me now on Facebook because I don't like bacon. Wow, that's the new thing that everybody's worried about.
I knew that for the
I
longest
thought the whole
time.
country didn't like bacon right now.
Oh,
Hot joke.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
home run,
Got
Chipper.
Oink, oink.
All right,
Seriously
so
though, bacon's delicious.
no, it's not.
Get out.
It's not good. It's too salty. It's gross. Pancetta's good. So what I was gonna say is so no, let's just go ahead and get back into it. We've been talking about the riots. I know that so now it's kind of spread to other. Oh, by the way, Rocky, John, Chris, Steve.
Before and after.
5 minutes into the second
For
segment.
those of you who are looking.
Sometimes we do that in the intro, though. We just start talking or whatever. And
Yeah.
we just never tell it. I only do that so people know whose voice is who. If you're on YouTube, obviously you know because you can see. But I still get stuff on online like I don't know who's who. Like like people used to tell me that back in the day. They'd be like, I don't know the difference between.
Keep listening.
Yeah, really.
How do
You
you
don't
think you
need to
figure it
know.
out, right?
They don't need to know.
Chris and I are the fat one. So there's now a death toll with all this rioting and stuff like that. A cop was killed overnight. Two cops were shot. One of them died from his injuries. The other one is, I believe, in very serious condition. And also, there was one rioter, 19-year-old male in Detroit, who was shot by a business owner trying to protect his wares. Where do you guys lie on that? Is this just more collateral damage, as was said earlier in the show? Like, fuck it, we can build another building. A few people are going to die. Why is one person's death more important than another person's death? Because nobody seems to know the officer's name hasn't been actually released yet, but the 19-year-old gentleman who was killed is going by 19-year-old gentleman who was killed. I've looked up extensively online. His name is forgotten in all the melee. George Floyd will obviously be remembered more than a lot of these people, but is this more collateral damage? Is this worth it? Almost like COVID-19. Is it worth a few lives to get to the greater good, as I would say?
See, to me, I think the point's already been made, so now we can start to maybe digress a little bit. Like as a whole, you know, as a
for peace, John,
just a little bit. I mean, it's. I mean, I don't. It's the just a simple, like, to put it simply, I guess, is you can't combat violence with more violence, and sometimes it. You know, it's.
If you're watching on YouTube, I just drank a beer that was sat in the sun for an hour.
Oh,
go ahead, John. I'm sorry to interrupt you. What were you saying?
No, I think at this point it's starting to become counterproductive.
Still.
The point's been made. I feel like there's been arrest. I think they need to get the other three officers, but the arrest was made on the main one, and they need to get the other three. But it's starting to head in the right direction. And if we just keep continuing destroying things, that little
Asian guy pissed me off the most. It's
easy to discount
talking shit the whole time.
It's easy to discount what's been going on for the last 2 months too when you're thinking about all this. Like, people have already been sitting in their houses, like, bubbling up for 2 months, wondering what's going on, broke, poor.
Some of them mad at the government already. Yeah. Right.
So, I never want to hear about COVID again.
You know,
I don't take it seriously after this. No.
And the statement that, you know, you're taking away from George Floyd, and, you know, is it going to be in his name?
I didn't say. I'm asking if. I really am. I'm asking if. I'm playing.
Well, that's a statement I've heard a lot. You know, like, make sure George Floyd gets, you know, his, and make sure he's
his girlfriend and family members said that he would absolutely hate this. He actually spoke about this publicly. He had several YouTube videos and stuff like that, if anybody bothered to fucking look. But he spoke out against this stuff all the time. He thought it was absolutely ridiculous and childish and would not have approved. His family, girlfriend, everybody has said that about him. He was more about the more passive. He was all about educating the youth and stuff.
That's one of the things about it is, like, we were talking about earlier, how
this would have pissed him off immensely.
Yeah, how people were coming from, like, out of state or out of the city to riot, you know, because they don't have to live. Like, we get to all sit here and talk about it, and then when we decide we're done discussing it, then we get to go home and just live regular lives. But like, the people there have to live through this long after the victim, like the victim's family, George Floyd's family, have to live through all of this after the fact.
A lot of these towns don't survive this. Steve, was it you or you, Chris, that was pointing out that this is now on the steps of the White House?
They're
in DC right now.
Yeah, they've breached, I believe, the Treasury building or the
Treasury
Federal,
building.
Or one of those buildings they've breached. Yeah.
Okay.
Who's
They also, I think they're in Atlanta right now on CNN headquarters, fucking that up.
Yeah, and I actually watched some live video yesterday from two Atlanta rappers who were live on scene during, like, a political speech in Atlanta, trying to get people just to calm down a little bit and saying, like, Atlanta's one of our last, like, outposts where we can come and be, like, successful black people. Let's not ruin that. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Atlanta, while it does have its corruption issues and it has its problems, as all police departments do, they don't have this police brutality in such a glaring issue. And it was, I don't know, it was really empowering to watch, like, Killer Mike and T.I. talk about this. Did you see that? It was a really
I saw a short snippet of Killer Mike's. I heard that he did several minutes. I probably saw 45 seconds.
He went on for a while.
Yeah, well, and in terms of, like, the spread itself, I mean, they were here in Florida, here in Windermere, because the guy,
second home,
the officer owns another home here, and so people were, like,
I heard that he wasn't there though.
No, he wasn't.
There was so I woke up yesterday to see that he owns another home in Windermere which I didn't really. I kind of discredited. I'll believe it when I see it. Then they were posting online on Facebook, same shit, that his the property records and who owns it and the address. And then I also saw that he was fleeing Minnesota, which I thought probably rightfully so. He's probably not very safe there right now, anywhere really, but especially in Minnesota at the scene of the crime.
But I do want to point out all of this could
get too far.
All of this could be a lot better if David Chauvin just kills himself. That all of this would be a lot better.
Or if Hillary does it.
Hillary does it for him.
He should just fucking kill
so
himself.
I woke up to seeing that he was fleeing Minnesota to come to his second home here in Windermere, and then I heard people saying, "Well, let's go there and protest." And John saw somebody on Facebook who we all know.
I know who you're talking about.
Fucking
he
at the
sounded like a
Windermere
fucking
protest,
idiot too. He was like, "I'm gonna go over there. Can anybody give me a ride?"
And then also, he wasn't. I don't know who you're talking about. But it was all for naught because he didn't come here. He was arrested in Minnesota.
This right here is from WUSA 9. I'm not sure about the source.
Wusa?
I don't know too much about him. But watch live. Protesters march to Justice Department in honor of George Floyd. Now, on D.C.'s first day of reopening, demonstrators marched near the White House, squared off with Secret Service and blocked highways protesting George Floyd's death. Now, this is what it says. In Washington, the White House was locked down under U.S. Secret Service order Friday night as over 100 people gathered outside. 100 people, shit. Oh, wow. Yeah, Pennsylvania Avenue, protesting the death of George Floyd. Over 200 protesters moved to the Trump International Hotel, chanting, "We can't breathe." Gathered near 14th and U. Anyways, so now they are in the nation's capital, and now I'm seeing now. Holy shit! There's a lot more than 100 fucking people here.
Yeah.
If this is
I saw pictures.
No, this is in Minneapolis.
There's a lot more than 100 people at the White House.
Okay,
and they're bumping heads with Secret Service right.
Okay, so hold on. Now, and I'm playing devil's advocate, but this is the goddamn truth. Immediately, they were looking for the guy. He did a little runoff, and they caught him within 3 days, and they put him. I mean, they didn't give him the right. Who the fuck am I?
I wouldn't say immediately that they got.
Why would the cops go after their own? They never will.
Right.
But so. The FBI's been called out. This guy's now he's in control. He's in custody. I mean, innocent until proven guilty. But the motherfucker was on camera. We all watched it. I don't see how you could. And yeah,
but everything that's right boiling up right now, it's not just this guy and this thing and then one thing.
Well,
it's so much stuff.
What else? What are they protesting? That justice is getting served? Like what are they protesting now that we've gone to the links to get the FBI involved and everything like that? Again, just being devil's advocate. What now? What more? Should we lop off a finger or something in the middle in between here and this court session? What else? What? He's probably going to die in prison.
That's the hard,
I'm guessing from suffocation. If another prisoner gets a hold of him,
absolutely,
this man's
but I'm sure he's in protective custody. He's a policeman.
So do rapists. They get killed every day.
Absolutely.
We can call Frankie about that one if you guys want to. He's going to be killed in prison. He's not going to do well. He's certainly not going to live a nice, cushy life with the TV watching. I know like. I've heard a lot of prison stories. Their favorite thing to do is watch TV, laze around, fight each other, whatever. It's actually really sad. But this guy's not going to live a nice, cushy life, if you will, in jail.
The excuse that they gave for why it took so long to arrest him is because they were trying to charge him with the exact right thing. They didn't want to charge him with the wrong thing.
I think it's because cops don't arrest cops.
I think it's a little of both.
It's like an excuse.
I'll extrapolate it further and say, would he even have been arrested or drawn up on charges at all if this wasn't videotaped and leaked? Same as
he was actually
Arbery.
let
if
go.
That didn't happen, if that wasn't spread through social media,
it would have been
would
his
that
word
have been a thing?
theirs. Nope, it wouldn't have.
It would have been swept under the rug.
He was linked to a shooting, and I don't have it in front of me. Please, let's go ahead and say that this is false information right now. But I believe it was in 2009 or something like that. He was involved in another shooting at some point.
I did read a long history on
maybe
on
it
this
was
officer.
earlier than that. Maybe it was like 5-6 years ago.
He's been involved in a couple shootings. He's had a dozen or more complaints against him
about him
in his history, and he was
let go.
Nothing has ever been done about it.
This motherfucker thinks he's like an officer from the movies.
Right.
Corruption runs rampant in the city. I'm not blaming Democrats. I'm not blaming Republicans, but this is a Democrat-run city, and there's a lot of corruption in this particular city.
Orlando,
it is
or
really, 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 really bad in Minneapolis.
Minneapolis,
and
I blame Al Franken.
he was allowed to. he was allowed to run rampant. Basically, if you got the correct change, they'll let anything happen.
Okay.
And he was now. I mean, their mayor, whoever was in charge, whatever, has let this guy go with a lot of bullshit. And obviously, he's still on the force. That has got to go up the chain at some point. Like, there's no wonder that they fucking burned down the precinct. Steve, I'm wondering, you're being a little quiet over there, and I'm very, very curious as to what you think about this. Or was the weed too strong?
No, the weed is definitely great,
When I
but
close my
I'm
eyes, I see
thinking what I'm
mechanical
thinking of
beams.
is COINTELPRO and Umbrella Man.
What is that, by the way? For people that don't know, I don't know
A
myself.
lot of people aren't aware that
I'm not
COINTELPRO is a FBI coordinated campaign that basically infiltrates any organization, political or otherwise, that they deem dangerous to our country. And they basically, what they do is they send in a spy and they become on your side, but then they start the fight. They start the physical stuff. They start breaking windows, because once a protest becomes non-peaceful, then the cops can come in and take control.
Yeah, and do what they want.
Is this the video I've been seeing going around on social media
So
of
the
the
umbrella
white guy, umbrella, gas mask, smashing
That
out
was
the
the
audio?
weirdest thing.
And the guy had like police like issued gas masks and his boots and his
Right.
combat
Yeah.
And
I was gonna
allegedly,
say the
he ran
boots.
back to that. Allegedly, after all that, people followed him back to the police station.
Yeah.
and
Really?
that's the police station that got
And
burned
I
down.
heard that since his girlfriend has come out and said that yes, she believes this was him,
Tim
based
Pool,
on things he said.
Tim Pool
From, St.
political- he's a political. I don't know if he's a pundit, whatever he is. He's a YouTuber. He's a very smart guy. Left leaning, obviously, as everybody is on YouTube. But he was saying that he has seen specifically this happen in several. He's been to several protests or whatever. That someone will come into the middle of what is a peaceful crowd and like throw a bottle at the cops or whatever. Now all the cops are something like. Often it would be like an Antifa member, or like either that or the opposite side. It'd be like a cop in plain clothes. But you can always tell by their boots or whatever. They're always giving
Their
themselves
haircut.
away in one way or another. And they'll go into what was a peaceful group, toss a bottle, Molotov cocktail, who fucking knows, and basically start now.
Incite it. Actually incite the violence.
Exactly.
The
inciting the
government
violence. That's
effectively-
exactly what they're doing, because there was no
Absolutely.
violence before their violent action.
Exactly.
And then now it becomes a clash against either protesters, cops, protesters, business owners, protesters.
That was our solution for Black Panthers and the KKK back in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
What, start the violence?
COINTELPRO is how we got them to shut up, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
because
well-
we were like, look, you're every time you come out is violence. So clearly you're violent.
It's violence and retaliation.
Yeah.
is
Kind of
what
like the
it
RICO
is.
Act.
yeah.
Well, I
But
was
they're
thinking
doing
of like the shot heard around the world, where there was this huge standoff. You know, I don't know if it was the Civil War or not, but it was like the shot heard around the world was
Franz
they don't know
Ferdinand.
they don't
Oh, I thought that was a
There you
Pele
go.
goal.
Yeah, Ferdinand, and they didn't know who shot
goal.
first. But one shot was all it took for everybody to start going after each other.
Yeah.
You know, so you throw that one bottle, and it could be a police officer in regular clothes throwing it from the other side just to get the excuse
Yep.
for the officers to act.
So there is government documentation proving that they did this. Like, they are not afraid to admit it. There is FBI reports and everything, documentation that they did this to the KKK, the Black Panthers, the anti-Vietnam War movement. Basically, every major protest in the last 50 years, they have records where they went in and did this.
Yeah.
And it's public record. You can see it. And the
wouldn't be
public
hard
part
to
about
talk
it
someone into
is
this
that they
either.
don't do it anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's bullshit.
No.
Of
Of course
it
they
happened
don't.
the other day.
And there's not UFOs, and there's there's
It
all
wouldn't
of
be
this
hard to do
bullshit.
because again, I mean, I'm gonna sound like an idiot here, but I mean, if I was gonna go to one of these things, I'm there for one reason and one reason fucking only: violence. I want to smash shit up. I believe in the cause and all that stuff like that, but it doesn't get done this way.
I feel
I'm
like-
here to break shit because breaking shit is fun. That is not how you fucking get
Tell 'em, Fred
politically.
Durst.
Politically, I would go to the state, file grievances, have everybody show up there on one after another. Just file. They don't have enough paperwork. They don't have and by the way, I'd like a cup of coffee too.
And guess how I'm starting the fire with
Dude,
that paperwork.
That's
So
how
send it at me,
you get
guys.
shit done. But basically, at this point, Minnesota's done. It's burned to a crisp. It's not going to come back. It's going to take forever, decades.
The
if
Mall of
anything.
America's there, sir. Don't just cut them so
Who
short.
gives a shit? This is overshadowed what had the potential energy to become a huge life-changing thing, to where something real could have happened, and now it will be forever shit-stained with this because like it or not, and I'm being devil's advocate again, but like it or not, because I just did it again. I tried to fucking Google something, couldn't find it. I typed in DC riot. So everything,
It's so hard to find
like
right
it
now.
or not, we can say, well, it's about these people's deaths. It's not, because nobody even knew the fucking name of
Well,
the
that
other
was
guy
the
that died.
impetus, though.
So
That
it's
was
not
the
about these
impetus.
people's deaths. It's not.
Right.
Otherwise, we would have all known their names. So it's not about their deaths anymore. It's about fucking Target and CVS and all these other fucking businesses being burnt
that's
down.
the hangers
It's about
honors.
the damn riots, because you
Right.
can't even Google it without typing riot in. So like it or not, that was the initial
The
reason.
spark to set the fire, so to speak.
Whatever. And again, I'm going to say that first brick, that first brick was thrown in anger.
Absolutely.
The second one is fun. It really is. It's fun to burn
And
shit
this
down.
is all alleged, but apparently the first brick that was thrown was by the umbrella guy.
That was what I was
in
going to say.
Minnesota.
Who's
And
to
he-
say the
he
first
also-
brick wasn't from the other side trying to spark off bullshit?
Right. And
First brick probably wasn't thrown
this
by somebody in mask and
They
shit. It
have
was probably
eyewitness
just
reports of this guy going up to this Target, spray painting. This is the place to get free stuff.
Target wasn't the
Then
first place.
Walking around and like breaking all the windows, like with the
Yeah, I think it was
whoever it was. Whoever it was.
AutoZone too.
Or maybe it was AutoZone,
Fuck
yeah,
'em.
exactly.
No, it was the AutoZone.
But there was people like the protesters there, like, what are you doing? We don't
Yeah, I
want
know.
to. We
There
don't.
was a
We're not
guy,
doing this.
ironically,
I saw
with
that.
a
Yeah,
pizza,
and he just, like,
following
hit
him around
pizza
going, what are you
and a
doing?
blunt.
Smoking a blunt. Right in
And he
front of
was,
this
and then he
off-duty
almost fought
cop.
the guy too, which is
Yeah.
awesome. I would have loved if he stuck that dude in the fucking mouth like he promised he would,
Yeah,
but he
for
bitched
sure,
out,
dude. For
fucking
sure.
pussy. But either way, whether you're like it or not, where this could have turned into a real thing, and it could have really changed the
think it
events
still
of
can.
America. I think
I don't
it's now
think
been totally overshadowed by this, by what's going
shit,
on.
the powers
And it
that be are
sucks.
here,
Go ahead.
guys.
And to be overshadowed by the
Oh.
pizza that we ordered
Yep.
is here at the door.
That's fine. But it's very sad. It's horrible that this is happening, and I'm wondering now, how do we recoup from this? Is this something that is? Can we salvage this?
The worst is yet to come, dude. Did you hear about the rent strike protests that people have been planning?
Too damn high.
No.
Like, so everyone knows that they haven't been able to pay rent for 2 months, and there's all these people about to get evicted. And basically, they're going to go. They wanted to do a rent strike where everyone says we're not paying rent. We're going to take to the streets and be like, "This is fucked up."
Gonna be a bunch of homeless motherfuckers.
There was already plans, like they were scheduling it for whenever they lifted the ban on evictions and stuff. That everyone's gonna be like, "This is fucked up. We need more time." So that was already in the plans. So now there's this, and there's the two guys that. The guy was jogging, like this is all,
Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah, this is all becoming one thing, and it's not like it sucks to say collateral damage, and this one guy is not like worried. They're not worried about him anymore, and it's not about him because it's not anymore. It's about everything, and it's gonna keep going and going. Like it's not.
piling
Can we
on,
salvage
right?
this?
Yeah.
Can we still
Dude,
make this a political movement?
Ask me again in a month after when there's rampant
You had a
evictions and businesses closing, and it's finally starting to financially impact
You
everyone.
had a great point yesterday, the day before, when you were like, right now it's bad, but wait 2 months. Wait a few weeks until. Hell, now nobody's going back to work in Minneapolis. The whole fucking city's burned down. There is no small business now. These people are their home's gone. They're homeless. They're the whole now. There's 3 dead at least, almost 4. The whole city is homeless now. Nothing good is going to happen.
And it's sparking up in other cities around the country.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
mentioned Atlanta, Detroit, like all these,
So
Washington, D.C.
What
Yeah.
what?
And 100,000 Americans just died from COVID. Like we're all in this crazy mental state right now.
Yeah, 2020
And-
has been a fucking ride.
We're gonna
When you look at
remember it.
we're all looking at the cops, they're corrupt. We're looking at our politicians, they're corrupt.
Yep.
Where everything is just like so almost dystopian that everyone's gonna freak out and they're gonna look to Minneapolis and be like, look at that police station burning, and they'll be like, wait, maybe we can change things. Maybe we can do
I
something.
just say, feed the crops sprunk. It has electrolytes.
Well,
Yeah, that was.
the power of the powerful are given by us
Yeah.
as citizens, as the majority. They have to be reminded that we're the reason they have any power at all, and we have to control it at the same time. So we got to make sure that we're not going overboard in certain circumstances, which is what I'm fearful of. I guess
That's what I'm afraid most of, is that we're going overboard. the point gets convoluted in all the hysteria.
I want us to be responsible enough as the majority, as upstanding citizens, to know when enough is enough, and then hopefully that we don't ruin too much of our own society that we have to be living in.
It's funny you mentioned enough is enough because that's being used a lot in these protests. A lot of people are saying enough is enough as far as police murdering black men. Where you're saying enough is enough as far as
both of it.
Fucking up the message afterwards.
Both of it. Enough is enough
on both sides.
Abusing the power of law enforcement, and then enough is enough. I think we've been making the point, and I don't want to.
Overstepping it
I don't want us
point.
to destroy our own environment because the powerful are going to be. That's going to be there. But us as a majority, we're destroying our own shit at some point.
At certain points, it only makes them more powerful, right?
But here's the thing: it's not our shit; it's their shit.
You're right.
It is their
You're
shit.
right.
And also,
and it always was. And we're nobody. And we're just we're like the workers.
Locked in a machine
because
this is babies in Rocky's mind.
Fuck their buildings and fuck their products and all that stuff like that. I'm sure if it's not insured, whatever, we can make more of it. We can't make more of this human being, this life that was taken. The only thing that I'm worried about
Have you seen two people fuck?
I have seen people fuck.
Okay, I'm saying you can make more people.
But
That's terrible.
I know that was a horrible joke.
I don't even make light. You
just
can't
move
make
on.
another joke.
Regardless,
Just move through
it.
Regardless, I don't think anybody gives a shit about Target. Their prices are not that good. I think a lot of the problem is the overshadowing of what was originally going on, and now we're worried about the fucking CVS. Who gives?
Think about it like this. All right, when you buy a house and you have a mortgage. You bought the house, you own the house, but technically you don't own that house. The bank owns
the bank
house,
owns it, right. Yeah,
and you're paying them for 30 whatever.
Years or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So technically you don't own that house, and technically you don't own that property. These banks and these big conglomerates
who are bailed
own all-
out by the government.
Exactly.
I had
And
an
you are
argument
nothing,
with my girlfriend about that the other day because I was pissed off. I was like, I own the house, but they can still take it away. What the fuck? We are gonna bring it back to Frankie though. You with us, Frank?
I'm here.
All right, cool. You are being recorded. You're on the podcast. What I was going to do is give you basically the final thought, the final word. We're going to let you basically take us out with what you think maybe we should get from this, or if you just have anything that you want to add.
I think the final takeaway that critics of the protests and the looting don't really understand is that they're so obsessed with the effect that they're not really paying enough attention to the cause, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All they're seeing is the destruction. Well, black people get killed in this country all the time, so do white people, and you don't see riots. There are minor issues of police brutality all the time where cops abuse people and there's no riots. Most of the time, the people of this country behave pretty civilly. We're not a nation of animals. So when you do see this level of destruction, you have to ask yourself, well, why? Right?
Good point.
If enough people rise up and literally start destroying shit in their own neighborhoods, you have to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Right?
Absolutely.
So it's not like it's without reason. It isn't just like normal. There have been lots of cases where people were unjustly abused and assaulted and bad things have happened and there weren't riots, there weren't causes of destruction. No, this was just the last straw.
No, I definitely understand. Now, another thing that I wanted to ask you is, now, what makes this case? Do you think it's just that it was videotaped, or do you think that this case holds some special light because it's very reminiscent of Eric Gardner? It's very reminiscent of just recently we had the, what was his name, Arbery?
Arbery, Michael Brown. It goes back.
I think what makes this one special is that it's particularly heinous. When we were growing up, I used to watch a lot of Faces of Death and, Augerish and stuff like that. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when that was a thing? When Kazaa was a thing?
LimeWire. Rotten.com. Jinx, you.
Rotten.com. So, I've been pretty desensitized. Like most Americans, I've been pretty desensitized to violence, right? There's very little you can show me that's going to shock me. And I think that's probably true for most of us right now. But that video was hard to watch for me, man. Yeah. And what makes it particularly heinous is the fact that there were people begging and pleading, like literally begging that cop, like, please let go of his neck. Like, please stop killing this guy. Can you please stop killing him? Like, it wasn't an unreasonable request. They were just like, hey, Mr. Policeman, can you please stop killing that black man in the street, sir?
It wasn't like free
you're
him.
absolutely right.
It wasn't like let him out of the handcuffs and let him go. It was like just stop taking his.
He had more than one voice speaking up for him, and it still didn't make a difference. And that's the saddening part.
That is the heinous part, is that their pleas for mercy fell on deaf ears. You know, this particular video, there's no gray area. A lot of the past incidents of things like this, there's been a little bit of a gray area, right?
Yeah.
There's no footage of what transpired between Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. So, you know, and dead men don't talk. So we don't know what really happened. So that opens a door for a kind of more nebulous interpretation of the events. In this case, it's so clear cut. It's so black and white. It's so obvious that it's like, this is what you get. You know, there is no saying, well, maybe he did this or he was fighting. No, like, we watched him have a neck in his knee for 10 minutes straight while people begged this cop to let go, and he did not. So I think that's what makes this particular case so bad.
There's no confusion about it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of confusion. Well, hey, Frankie, I want to thank you so much for helping us out with this episode. I'd really love to have you in anytime. I know you kind of live far away, but we are mobile. We can come out there and...
Mobile? We're mobile. We're not mobile.
We're a child's toy over their crib.
Tomato.
Yeah, tomato. Well, hey, Frankie, I want to say thank you again, man. I'd love to have you on the show. I'm so glad that you're doing well, you're healthy, and that you're doing your own thing. You look great on camera. I would again suggest everybody go over to Linear B on YouTube. If he changes the name, he changed the name, but he's a damn handsome gentleman.
Ah, yes, Linear B.
And I'm so
Thanks,
glad that
Rocky.
you're doing well.
You're not too bad yourself.
Oh, thank you, sir. All right, man, I'll talk to you soon. Do you want to say anything, any goodbyes to the audience? And before we hopefully inevitably have you in again?
I don't want to turn this into an after-school special, but all I would say is, you know, people just listen to each other. You know, read the writing on the walls, so maybe in the future something like this can be prevented. You know, if that cop would have been immediately arrested, if he would have been immediately charged, if our president would have addressed the nation with sympathetic words, if he would have sent a message to the police and letting everybody know that this will not be tolerated, I think a lot of this could have been avoided.
Yes, sir.
So I think we should just, I don't want to get too mushy and sentimental and kumbaya-y, but hey, let's just listen to each other, and maybe we can avoid these kinds of things in the future. But thanks for having me, Rocky. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for being here with us, and honestly, man, thank you for articulating that in a great way that we can't do it as four white dudes sitting here at the table. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a weird thing to be doing, and believe me, we all see the irony. But thank you for helping us out with this and at least shining some sort of light. And I can't wait to have you back on the show. And actually, man, I just can't wait to see you again, because I'm just so happy that you turned out to be such a wonderful person, despite, you know, whatever adversity you had to go through.
Thanks, man. I can't wait to see you too, bro.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon.
Great job.
Love the guy. He's a great dude.
Super smart guy. And also proof Rocky has a black friend.
Jesus Christ.
Hang on, let me call mine.
You would never know, because I wouldn't bring that up in an argument. Well, you know, I didn't do that basically to phone a black friend or whatever. He's been talking about this now for
Regis,
days.
can I phone a black guy?
Yeah.
Is that an out here?
Can we get some more blacks on the phone, please?
Yeah, lifeline.
Yeah, Alexa, call David. So
If you want a lifeline with the police, don't be a black guy.
well, yeah, oh my God, hold on.
Sad but
Let me
true.
reset from that. Let me reset from that, because I almost said a bad joke after yours. Anyway, not that yours is a bad joke.
No, it was. Call it what it is.
I really had him in because he's been talking about this now for days, and he's been doing a great job, and I'm very, very proud of who my friend has become. And that was mainly why is I did want his take on it. We talked to him the other night, you and I.
Yeah.
And I do want to have him on the show.
By that guy. I'd like to have him on my show.
He's a great guy. He was a great friend. He's a wonderful human being. We spend the night at each other's house. His mom is about as crazy as they come. She's so funny. Little tiny Haitian woman. She is hysterical. So funny. His family was absolutely lovely. His sister's a great person. Anyways, I'm gonna stop sucking his dick. Big old black one too. God damn it.
Frankie, my dear, I don't give a damn.
But I love him to death. Very talented person, very articulate dude, and I'm stoked to see what he continues to do with not only his YouTube channel, but I would suggest that he makes his own podcast. If you guys have
We need
anything
more of
more to
those.
say, yeah, exactly. If you have anything more to say, I would please encourage you to email what'sthefusspodcast@gmail.com or get into the YouTube comments. That's a really good way to actually figure us out. You can check out Funny to Informing, John and Chris's podcast, anywhere that podcasts are found. Anything else you guys want to pimp?
Nope, just Google that.
And of course, you guys know about the new 69 Fingers record, Goodbye. We've been playing it forever. We love you so much. Steve,
you, sir.
thank you for coming.
It was a pleasure.
You never talk enough on the show. He's been on other shows. If you want to go back into the archives, we've had him on some very interesting shows. You never talk as much as I want, but you never talk a lot anyways.
True.
It's
He's a
silent but
soft-spoken
deadly,
man.
this guy.
He gets his yelling out on a
Silent
different
but
microphone.
deadly.
Exactly.
Ruggy said, you don't talk as much as I would like. True. It's true.
He's silent but deadly, but when he does speak, he speaks volume.
Rocky talks enough for all of us.
Like a hot fart.
Between you and I, Chris, there's,
I know.
How does anybody get a word in
I don't know.
edgewise?
Good job, both of you.
All right, we love you guys so much. This has been a great episode. We have pizza to eat. I love you so much. We out this month.
Yeah.